We're back at it again. How about that for the fastest hour in football? Welcome to the All Access Football Daily Show. We're live 7 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern. I am your host, Ric Serritella, for the next hour or so. Buckle up, hunker down. You know what it is, the NFL Week 5 Pick'em episode here on October 5th, 2025, our 35th episode of the All Access Football Daily Show. And boy, we had a phenomenal week of guests this past week. Friday, we had Will McFadden from AtlantaFalcons.com checking in with the Falcons report on the bye week. We got a lot of good bye week updates. If you're a Green Bay Packers fan, Jason B. Hirschhorn also joined us from The Leap over on Friday's show, as well as Thursday. We got a bye week check-in with our Chicago Bears insider, Ben Devine, who does a great job over there at _Chicago_NFL. Of course, each and every Wednesday, the legendary Howard Balzer checks in, celebrating 50 years of covering the NFL. And Tuesday, we went to the indoor arena with Evan Wilsmore, the director of personnel for the Indoor Football League champions Vegas Nighthawks. And I tell you what, we got another jam-packed week for you as we get rolling here. Our 6th week of programming, I guess. It's a Sunday, start of the week, end of the week. It's all football all the time here on the All Access Football Daily Show. And we isolate all those interviews now on the YouTube channel. So thanks for following along. If you're tuned in, smash that like button. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or X. And let's get to it. You know, this NFL Week 5, just 2 teams remain unbeaten. The Buffalo Bills, circle your wagons, and the Philadelphia Eagles. But you got to wonder, where's the harmony? Where's the love in the city of brotherly love there in Philadelphia? A lot of drama emerging. We'll get into that as they get ready to take on the Denver Broncos in a fascinating 4 o'clock matchup. Of course, Buffalo taking on the AFC East New England Patriots. We also got a battle of 3-1 teams between Tampa Bay and Seattle. That should be a good one over there in the NFC. And the Ravens on the ropes. Man, they are busted, battered, and bruised, those Baltimore Ravens, as they get set for a showdown with the Houston Texans, who got a W on the board last week. And how about the Jackson Dart era? How about those Giants fans down there on Bourbon Street taking over the city? Unbelievable, the excitement. Cam Scatterboo sighting today? We shall see. We'll get into all that. Plus, we got London live game, in-game action as London gets set to host the first of 3 consecutive weeks. And we'll start off there in the London matchup because I did have the Vikings on Friday's show. Of course, yesterday on Saturday, we had the college football pregame show with Russell Landy, but I did get my pick on the books officially 22-13. I have Minnesota covering this game. They're laying 3.5. So far, Cleveland got on the board first here with a big Alex Wright fumble. Browns recovered it inside the Vikings territory, and Dylan Gabriel with his first career NFL touchdown, hitting another rookie, and Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green, who's been doing some big things there for the Brownies. And no Shador sighting as of yet, but the Vikings did come back now. Josh Oliver caught a touchdown pass from Cam Akers, not Carson Wentz, as they faked the run. Akers rolls out and hits Josh Oliver for a little dipsy-do. And so it's a 7-7 ball game. First quarter now, just winding down. It's Cleveland possession. Quinshon Judkins is running really hard, and he just busted loose as we speak. Looks like he could go all the way, but there's a flag on the play. So we'll see if that holds up. But Judkins is running very well. Of course, the last of the rookies from the 2025 NFL draft class to sign. He had 237 rushing yards coming into this one. Now, a little bit of news before the game that I saw: Ryan Kelly, the Minnesota Vikings center, being placed on the IR with the second concussion. So the Vikings down their starting center, their starting quarterback. The Wentz wagon is in. The showdown between Gabriel and Wentz is on and popping. And again, we'll be, I guess, live on the air with the London games for the next 3 weeks, but we'll keep you abreast of the latest updates here and whether or not this Cleveland Browns touchdown holds up. All right. We're going to shift over to the 1 o'clock matchups. All right. And this is the All Access Football NFL Pick'em show, where we are 38-27. against the spread. I see these guys on NFL Network, they're giving themselves a pat on the back for just picking winners. Are you kidding me? No. We pick against the spread. Let's get into it, shall we? Holding on the play. Browns still driving on their own territory. Woo! Baby, week 5. Can you believe it? We are just moving, grooving through this NFL season. A third of the way almost down. 2/3 still to go. And let's just take a quick timeout to wish Mark Sanchez a quick recovery, shall we? We begin in Indianapolis, where the festivities began a little bit early out there in downtown Indianapolis outside the steakhouse. Mark Sanchez didn't plan on using the steak knife that way, did he? I don't mean to make light of the situation, but the details are murky. The story keeps on changing, and Indianapolis, they'll need to find a new broadcaster for today's game. But in all seriousness, we hope Mark is okay. I don't know why he's out there at 12:30 at night fighting 69-year-old men, but we'll leave this battle to on the field, which is the Raiders 1-3, the Indianapolis Colts 3-1. Two teams coming off a loss last week, of course. Colts losing, Raiders losing to Chicago, Colts losing to the Rams last week, all right? But Indianapolis is back at home, and if you've been paying attention, it's been electricity there in the dome of Indianapolis, and the Colts are going to be without Alec Pierce, wide receiver. Cornerback Kenny Moore also out. We also got news today or late last night, Brock Bowers not expected to play for the Raiders. The only way he's going to get better is if he rests, so he's going to do so unwillingly today. Now, the Raiders, we've talked about the Geno Smith turnover issues. He's got 7 interceptions on the season already. But how about on the defensive side? Max Crosby, he's got 7 tackles for a loss, a pair of sacks, doing what Max Crosby does. And he's been a potential trade candidate, according to the rumors. And who knows, maybe Dallas could make a play. But Ashton Genty goes back to his upright stance a week ago, runs for a season high, 138 rushing yards last week. Tyree Wilson also getting in on the sacks. He's starting to pick up steam here in the 2025 season. And for the Colts, they got the 3rd ranked offense in the National Football League, averaging just under 400 yards a game. Rookies doing some things. Tyler Warren, 5 catches, 70 yards, had that Wildcat rushing touchdown. How about Adonai Mitchell had a career-high 96 yards last week. You like to see him get involved in the offense. And Cam Bynum, man, I got to mention him once again because he is playing at an all-pro level. That Cam Bynum, he had 7 tackles again last week, 2 interceptions on the season, bunch of pass deflections from the safety. And Indianapolis is actually laying 7 here. I do think the Colts win, but the NFL has been a game of one-score matchups. And I'm going to take the Raiders with the 7, but I like Indianapolis to win this one, 26-20. Give me the Colts, but I'll take the Raiders plus the 7 for the first official pick of the 1 o'clock matchups. All right. We're going to get the who care games out of the way first. Miami Dolphins 1-3 at the Carolina Panthers 1-3. This is 2 teams headed nowhere fast, quite frankly. And Mike McDaniel, he's still trying to stave off the Hunters. His job's still on the line as far as I'm concerned. Now, Tyreek Hill, that distraction's out of the way. We saw him go down with a gruesome injury. Of course, his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, saying he's going to play again. We shall see. And for Carolina, this has kind of now become a Bryce Young audition for the rest of the season because I have questions about whether he's going to be the long-term signal caller, whether this regime even stays there or not. But Bryce Young just doesn't do it for me. I don't see the development, the next step. There's an occasional big game, but nothing that makes me say, wow, he's a franchise signal caller. He's completing 60% of his passes, 753 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Bryce Young. They're going to be without Chuba Hubbard here. So Rico Dowdle, who signed in the offseason from the Dallas Cowboys, gets to start. Jatavian Sanders, who was playing very well before his injury, is also out, as is defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton. Miami's going to be minus Hill and also wide receiver Cedric Wilson. Now, Devin Achane, season high 99 yards a week ago. How about Darren Waller dusting off the mothballs for 2 touchdowns a week ago? Bradley Chubb has a sack in 3 of 4 games this season. He's doing big things there for Miami this year. Looks back to form. Over on the Carolina side, we mentioned Rico Dowdle getting the start, but it's been some rookies contributing in recent weeks. Tetiora McMillan led the team with 62 yards a week ago. Mitchell Evans, the nice-looking tight end out of Notre Dame, he got on with the touchdown last week as well. And Nick Scourton, another rookie on the defensive side, registered his first tackle for a loss. And despite all the optimism from the young players contributing there in Carolina, I'm not a believer. I'm not buying it. Miami comes into the matchup as a 1-point favorite. Give me the Dolphins 25-22 in that 1 o'clock affair. All right, we're just getting started here on the All Access Football Daily Show. This is the NFL Week 5 around the league pick'em. We're 38-27 against the spread. We got 3 games officially on the books for if you want to include London. Now, when we come back from the commercial break, I'm going to dive into the heart of the 1 o'clock slate. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Hey, RIC and a place to be. Ric Serritella checking in from the legendary Jersey Shore for the world famous All Access Football. And you're tuned in to the All Access Football Daily Show, our newest venture here at the world famous All Access Football, read by all 32 NFL teams and 50,000 subscribers from around the world. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to work in this great game of football for the past 2 decades. It's our 24th season of providing you independent analysis when it comes to the NFL draft and everything pigskin, whether it's the NFL, college football, NFL draft, CFL, UFL. We'll be with you each step of the way, especially for draft season when we really get into high mode. Of course, it's all brought to you by the 2026 NFL Draft Bible, published in April, featuring over 500 in-depth scouting reports with our boots-on-the-ground analysis. We'll be on location at the All-Star Games, the NFL Scouting Combine, the Pro Day circuit, counting you down to that 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. And be sure you check us out over at allaccessfootball.com. We've got a great promo discount for you listeners at home. If you enter our promo code RICVIP, you'll get a 30% discount off of all of our premium content. You'll unlock the magic. Get our NFL Draft Insider Reports, Scouting Notebook, of course, the World Football All Access Football Report published on Wednesday. It's your new home for real football talk. So follow along, give us a shout. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please give it a like, a share, a subscribe, and we'll be with you each and every day here, 7 days a week, live, 10 a.m. Eastern, no days off, rain, sleet, hail, snow. The show must go on. For Ric Serritella and the All Access Football Daily Show, keep it locked, everybody. All right, back at it again. All right, seeing the place to be. Ric Serritella telling it like it is when it comes to the NFL draft and everything pigskin over at the allaccessfootball.com, read by 50,000 subscribers from 70 countries around the world, and all 32 NFL teams get down on it. Of course, we'll talk some NFL draft later on in the show, give you some thoughts from around the NCAA landscape. But this is the NFL Week 5 Pick'em preview show. We're 38-27 against the spread. We got our first 4 games on the books as the Vikings drive into Cleveland territory, 7-7 tie, Minnesota driving with 13 minutes left in the second quarter. Harold Fannin, a touchdown pass from Dylan Gabriel, and then Josh Oliver on the 1-2 trickaroo. Cam Akers rolling out of the Wildcat and hitting Josh Oliver on the touchdown. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in to the All Access Football Daily Show. We know there's football on, and there's going to be football on for the next 3 weeks. This is the first of 3 consecutive games out there in London, but we're on the 1 o'clock dockets. We got the first few picks in the books in the first segment. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the 1 o'clock action, and we begin with the Dallas Cowboys 1-2-1 coming off that tie against Green Bay, and the New York Jets, the woeful Jets, 0-4 at home, grasping for some kind of life. And it's, we're here in Jersey broadcasting live around the football universe. It's the same old Jets. That's the storyline here as long as we've known these Jets. Going back to 1969 and Joe Willie White Shoes. You can change the coach, you can change the QB, and the Jets are going to jet. And the Cowboys are all banged up in this one. George Pickens versus Sauce Gardner is going to be a good one. And so let's talk about this preview in the NFL Around the League matchup in the league where they play for pay. All right, Cowboys at Jets, MetLife Stadium. I mean, the Jets fans are probably at the tailgate now just drinking their sorrows away. That's what kind of season it's been. And you saw Aaron Glenn there. I mean, it's kind of sad when your head coach is doing ball security drills in week 5 of the NFL. This is training camp stuff, coach. And I know you're frustrated. You're feeling the hot seat. But it looked more like the Bad News Bears practicing than the professional football team. I hate to say it. Now, they waived Isaiah Williams, the kick returner, after week 1. Xavier Gibson was shown the door for his fumble woes. Isaiah Williams signed. Who's evaluating the kick returners? You're not doing a very good job. We're a month through the season, and you're now going to be going to your 3rd kick returner. It's scheduled to be either Avery Williams or Isaiah Davis. We don't know. I don't know if the Jets even know. All right, for the Cowboys, I'll tell you, it's a prime picking game for the Jets. I just went to the apple farm a couple weeks ago picking my apples. Boy, they were ripe. This game's ripe for the taking because CeeDee Lamb out. Devontae Turpin out. Offensive lineman Tyler Booker out. Tackle Tyler Guyton out. Safety Malik Hooker out. I mean, this is a banged up Dallas Cowboys team coming off a overtime tie. And I'll tell you what, though, Javonte Williams, he looks rejuvenated, doesn't he? He rushed for 85 yards, tied his career high with his 4th rushing touchdown already this season. Pickens, career high, 8 catches for 134 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns last week. You saw CeeDee Lamb out with the injury. Jake Ferguson, he's been stepping up in a big way in the Cowboys passing attack. Over on the Jets side of things, the Justin Fields experiment is not actually off to a great start. Just 2 touchdown passes on the season. Of course, he did miss that one game. Tyrod Taylor got the start, but 471 passing yards through the first month of the season. Not what the Jets had in mind. Poor Garrett Wilson, the only playmaker on this team. He had 82 yards receiving last week. How about Mason Taylor, the rookie out of LSU, getting involved? Career highs, 5 catches for 65 yards a week ago. Now, Cowboys come into this matchup favored at 1.5. And I'm going to tell you something right now. There's not many winnable games for the New York Jets this season. You've got 5 marquee starters out for the Cowboys. And so the Jets at home, fighting for their head coach. We'll see. I can tell you this. I got the Jets in a close one, 26-24. And if they don't pull out this game, I can promise you right now, here in the NFL Week 5 of the All Access Football Pick'em Show, I will not pick the New York Jets for a single time again if they can't win today. Today, we ride. All right, zoom up those Jets. I got them 26-24. Justin Fields, please show us something, would you? All right, moving and grooving, keeping the theme in Jersey. I saw the Giants fans taking over Bourbon Street last night. What a scene. what one win could do for you over those Rams, man. I mean, over the Chargers, they ran into a buzzsaw last week. That was the New York Giants. Look, Jackson Dart, it wasn't great, it wasn't pretty, but it was efficient. He got the job done, and it's just amazing what these new rookies have done to turn around the culture for the Big Blue. Abdul Carter, Cam Scattaboo. I'm looking at you, Scattaboo. This guy is going to rumble tumble for at least one score today. That's my prediction. Of course, the Giants' hearts are heavy. John Mara coming out last week announcing his fight with the Big C. So Giants looking to get this organization right for Mr. Mara. And the Saints are probably the most talent deficient roster in the NFL. I mean, there is nobody to build a team around on this roster. Not a single guy, not even Cameron Jordan, who's way past his prime. Now, he did have a sack last week. He's second amongst all players with 124 career sacks, but he's on the back nine, as is Calvin Kamara. Kamara rushed for 70 yards last week, 586 career catches now. He tied Tiki Barber for the sixth most ever for a running back, and he can pass Marcus Allen next. Allen has 587. So Kamara making his moves up the record boards, but it's not leading to a good record for the New Orleans Saints. Now they are going to activate Voltron, which is Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill activated for the Saints today, but that's not going to be enough to get the job done because the Giants are coming down to New Orleans with an agenda. And I don't know, call me crazy. I think Vegas is crazy for making the Saints favorites in this game. Giants are getting 2 points. And when these games came out at the beginning of the week, I circled the Giants as the game I like the most. Give me the Big Blue, 24-19. I like the Giants to ride and thrive, and Jackson Dart gets it done again down there in New Orleans for the G-Men. All right. Over to the AFC, we got the Houston Texans, 1-3, coming into Baltimore, who's also 1-3. Of course, Houston shut out Tennessee 26-0 last week, while the Ravens, they fell, and they fell hard to the Kansas City Chiefs. And, of course, the game was out of hand by the time Lamar Jackson aggravated that hamstring, and now Lamar Jackson will not play in this game. Cooper Rush in the saddle for Baltimore. Emory Jones, the offensive lineman from LSU, he's also out, as is Pro Bowl fullback Patrick Richard. All-Pro linebacker Roquan Smith, Pro Bowl defensive back Marlon Humphrey, and starter Chidobe Awuzie. But wait, there's more. Listed as questionable, Kyle Hamilton, the safety, Ronnie Stanley, the tackle, Owa, the defensive lineman, Odafe Owa is questionable. I mean, Baltimore is just battered down and out, fighting for their lives. For Houston, Trent Brown, the offensive tackle, will be out. Woody Marks, we talked about it at the beginning of the season. His role is going to grow each and every week. Career high, 119 scrimmage yards a week ago. Had a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown. Nick Chubb chiming in for 62 scrimmage yards as well. And how about Danielle Hunter, opposite of Will Anderson? They got 7 combined sacks, and they're going to be coming at Cooper Rush with the heat today, okay? Cooper Rush did complete 9 of 13 for 52 yards last week, filling in for Jackson. Justice Hill getting into the mix, had a career high 117 scrimmage yards. And, man, you know, I hate to do it to Baltimore, but I think they're going to be 1-4 here. Houston favored by 1.5 in Baltimore. I like the Texans in a close one, 23-20 over the Baltimore Ravens. All right, one more game on the 1 o'clock docket. This one is the 1 o'clock game of the week. Denver with the big win over Cincinnati a week ago, 28-3. The Eagles getting it done on all kinds of ways. Special teams. 1 week it's defense. Another week it's offense. 1 week it's passing. Most weeks it's running. A little bit of tush push. We saw a new wrinkle last week. Dallas Goedert running the tush push. As if the league wasn't angry enough. We're going to have our tight end run the tush push on you. How do you like that? Now, What do you want to make of the brotherly love situation there in Philadelphia? AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, not too happy about the ball distribution. And Jalen Hurts, just 101 attempts on the season. He is completing 70% of his passes, but just 609 passing yards through the first month. He does have 179 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns, just 5 passing touchdowns, but no interceptions. So when you don't turn the ball over and you win ball games, I hate to break it to you, AJ and Devontae, that's all that matters. The bottom line is winning. So there's been some talks about trades, and Sirianni fanned the flames. He said, no. I talked to AJ. He wants to be here. Simmer down. All right. Now, these two teams are relatively healthy. The Eagles are going to be down linebacker Nakobe Dean. And the Eagles can be 3-0 for the third time in the last 4 seasons. Okay. They can become the 8th Super Bowl champion to ever begin 5-0 since 2000. And Saquon Barkley, the stats aren't really there. Our good friend Adams Exploits chimed in the other day saying more to do with the Eagles' offensive line, which hasn't been dominant. But Barkley, 74 scrimmage a week ago. Jahad Campbell, the rookie out of New Jersey, Alabama, Roll Tide. He had his first career interception last week. Over on the Denver side, Bo Nix is coming off a career high 326 passing yards from last week. J.K. Dobbins had a season high 101 rushing, and then you also had a season high out of R.J. Harvey with 98 scrimmage yards. And how about Troy Franklin? We mentioned him last week. We're going to mention him again this week. 55 receiving yards in 2 of his last 3 games there for Troy Franklin, who was either 7th round or undrafted, a teammate for Bo Nix. He's got 196 receiving yards, second on the team behind Cortland Sutton, who has 266. Now, Philadelphia comes in as a 4-point favorite. I think it's going to be a close one, and I struggled with this, and, I like the Eagles to win. I struggled with whether or not they would cover because the NFL has been so close, but every time I pick against the Eagles, against the spread, they always find a way to pull it out. I'm not going to put it past them this time. Give me Philadelphia in a close one, high-scoring affair, 31-26, and I think A.J. Brown gets on the board. Jalen Hurts is going to find his boy A.J. for a touchdown score today and smooth everything over there for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, London is still tied at 7-7. All right, we just got the 1 o'clock games in the can. This is the NFL Around the League Pick'em Show. We do it each and every Sunday. 38-27 against the spread coming into today. And in my hands, I have a loaded 4 p.m. slate and an outstanding Sunday night football affair between the Kansas City Chiefs and Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to talk about it, be about it, and break it down. Right after this quick commercial break, we're also going to tell you how to find out how to win. You see those books back there, the value picks. We're going to tell you about more as well when we come back right after this. Hey, RIC in a place to be. Ric Serritella checking in from the legendary Jersey Shore for the world-famous All Access Football, and you're tuned in to the All Access Football Daily Show, our newest venture here at the world-famous All Access Football, read by all 32 NFL teams and 50,000 subscribers from around the world. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to work in this great game of football for the past 2 decades. It's our 24th season of providing you independent analysis when it comes to the NFL draft and everything pigskin, whether it's the NFL, college football, NFL draft, CFL, UFL. We'll be with you each step of the way, especially for draft season when we really get into high mode. Of course, it's all brought to you by the 2026 NFL Draft Bible, published in April, featuring over 500 in-depth scouting reports with our boots-on-the-ground analysis. We'll be on location at the All-Star Games, the NFL Scouting Combine, the Pro Day Circuit, counting you down to that 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. And be sure you check us out over at allaccessfootball.com. We've got a great promo discount for you listeners at home. If you enter our promo code RICVIP, you'll get a 30% discount off of all of our premium content. You'll unlock the magic, get our NFL Draft insider reports, scouting notebook. Of course, the World Football All Access Football Report published on Wednesday. It's your new home for real football talk. So follow along, give us a shout. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please give it a like, a share, a subscribe, and we'll be with you each and every day here, 7 days a week, live, 10 a.m. Eastern, no days off, rain, sleet, hail, snow. The show must go on. For Ric Serritella and the All Access Football Daily Show, keep it locked, everybody. All right, we're back at it again. All right, seeing the place to be. Ric Serritella here for the All Access Football Daily Show. We're live 7 days a week. It is your home for real football talk. We got one eye on London and one eye on the National Football League as we go around the league with our NFL pick'em 38-27 against the spread coming into this London matchup. And we just went through all the 1 p.m. games. We got a backloaded 4 p.m. slate, 5 games on the 4 p.m. docket. And, of course, a Sunday night football game still to get to as we heat up here about halfway through the hour of power, the fastest hour in football each and every day here on the All Access Football Show. Game is tied 7-7 right now. Minnesota and Cleveland, of course, Dylan Gabriel connecting with Harold Fannin to get on the board first, followed by a Cam Akers dipsy-do rollout to Josh Oliver touchdown pass. And Cleveland now has the ball driving on their own 20 or 30-yard line here with about 6 minutes left to go in the first half. We'll keep you posted if anything transpires. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in on this Sunday morning affair, especially with some football games going on. And, hey, we're trying to deliver some winners to you here. So let's get into the 4 o'clock slate, shall we? We got to take out the hammer for this edition. Hammer. Now. Hammer, now, hammer, now. And the Tennessee Titans 0-4. They got hammered last week by the Houston Texans. And they're getting 7.5 as they travel into Arizona, a team that's also down and out, down James Conner, down Trey Benson, down. You know, Cardinals sitting at 2-2 coming off the loss against Seattle. The Titans look to be going nowhere fast once again. And Brian Callahan, you got to wonder about his job security. This has been a down-and-out team. Cam Ward is struggling, completing just 50% of his passes. He came out after the game last week and said, we ass. His words, not mine. We ass. So if that's what your franchise quarterback thinks of the organization, what does the organization think of their head coach, Brian Callahan? What does Cam Ward think of Brian Callahan? Doesn't look good. For the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison, it's been a roller coaster ride. And we saw another big drop that led to an interception last week. Second half, he came to life, big plays. He was dejected, demoralized, looking like a lost soul on the sideline. But second half, started to make some plays. Which Marvin Harrison Jr. will we get today? 208 yards on the season coming into this one. And, it was good to see Darius Robinson making some plays last week. 2 tackles for a loss, second career sack. Big things were expected out of Darius Robinson. Unfortunately, he plays a good game and he gets hurt. He's going to miss this one, as is J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans. So Cam Ward, more bad news there. Now, I did see them activate Tajay Spears for this matchup. So Tony Pollard will get some help in the backfield. Tyler Lockett He's got over 1,000 career receiving yards against the Arizona Cardinals in 12 games. Elic Ayomanor out of Stanford, the third-round pick, making a name for himself. He's got 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. Led the team with 44 receiving yards a week ago. Cody Barton, this guy flies around the football field, sideline to sideline. I noticed it in Titans training camp. He had 9 tackles last week. How about Cedric Gray? When you stink and your defense is always on the field, well, you come up with 17 tackles, a career high for Cedric Gray, who we were very high on coming out of North Carolina. Boy, they got their asses handed to them yesterday, didn't they? Kyler Murray, 241 yards a week ago, including 41 rushing. He had to lead the team in rushing as the Cardinals have struggled mightily without Connor and Benson. How about Emari DeMarcado out of TCU with his first career receiving touchdown last week? I don't know. I struggled with this game, but I can't get on board with the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Cardinals, they got a problem putting teams away, so 7.5, a little bit too rich for my liking. I like the Cardinals to win this game, and I could see them controlling it from start to finish, but maybe a little backdoor cover here at the end. Give me the Cardinals 27-20. I'll take the Titans with the hook. Keeping it at the 4 o'clock matchups, Detroit Lions 3-1. They just steamrolled the Cleveland Browns, who are in action in London as we speak. They're going to go into Cincinnati as double-digit favorites, 10 points over the Cincinnati Bengals, who got slaughtered by Denver last week, 28-3. Bengals started off good, 2-0, and then as Joe Burrow went, so did their season, now 2-2. And I'll tell you what, if they drop this one, could the Kirk Cousins trade rumors heat up? It's very possible. Detroit's been winning big. It's time to talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown being the best wide receiver in the National Football League. Good friend of the show, by the way. We'll try to pop him up here at some point during the season. How about this? Amon-Ra versus Jamar Chase, a showdown of top wideouts in the National Football League. All right, Zach Cunningham's going to miss this one, the linebacker for Detroit. And then it's been a rough year for the rookie, Shamar Stewart, in Cincinnati. He's also out with an injury. Detroit leads the NFL in scoring offense. They're averaging 34.3 points per game. Amon-Ra St. Brown, his 5th career game last week with at least 2 touchdowns. And how about Aiden Hutchinson? Great to see him back and getting into form. He's got 4 tackles for loss, including 4 sacks, 2 sacks a week ago, 6 career forced fumble last week. And for the Browns, one bright spot has been Demetrius Knight, good-looking linebacker there, rookie. 10 tackles, had his first career interception last week, first rookie since Ivan Pace in 2023 with 10 tackles and an interception in one game. He leads all rookies with 31 tackles, but at the end of the day, this is the Cincinnati Bengals. And Jake Browning, he completed just 56% of his passes last week for 125 yards. Give me the Lions to roll and roar once again. This one can get Bubba Sparks kind of ugly. I got the Lions 38, the Bengals 13. All right, 4 o'clock docket starting to heat up. AFC East rivalry. To me, these are the top 2 teams in the AFC East. The New England Patriots, that is, 2-2, coming off that 42-13 win over Carolina, traveling into Buffalo, who is one of just 2 unbeaten teams, 4-0. Of course, they took care of the Saints 31-19, but did not cover. And the Patriots are getting 8 points in this one. All right. Still, McDermott, I wonder if he can get this Bills team over the hump. Their season really won't begin until playoff time. Mike Vrabel, hey, the record says 2-2, but this is a different team compared to the Gerard Mayo Patriots. And again, top 2 teams in the AFC. The Patriots are going to be without Kayvon Chaisson, defensive end. Matt Milano and Ed Oliver, questionable. They missed the last few games for Buffalo. So some reinforcements could be on the way this afternoon. Josh Allen, what more can you say? Completing 70% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Everyone eats. There's really no go-to wideout on this team. A little bit of Keon Coleman sprinkled in with Khalil Shakir. You got Dawson Knox. You got Dalton Kincaid. I mean, the hits just keep on coming from every angle on this Buffalo offense, and they've really thrived without Stephon Diggs over the last 2 seasons. Joey Bosa doing his thing on the defensive side. He had a sack and a forced fumble for these Buffalo Bills a week ago, and New England scored 40 points for the first time since 2021 last week. How about that? Drake May completing 14 of 17 for 203 and 2 touchdowns. He's playing pretty good. And Travion Henderson, he's starting to get more involved in the running attack. He had his first career rushing touchdown last week. Now, I think the Bills are a better ball club, and I think they're going to win this game. But they do play up or play down to their opponent. And I think this will be closer than the point spread indicates. I do like Buffalo to win it, but New England to cover. Give me Buffalo 27, New England 20. All right, this one is the game of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-1. Heading into Seattle, also 3-1. The gritty Bucs favored by 3.5 over the surprising Seahawks. And this is going to be a litmus test for Seattle, right? Because Sam Darnold, is he fooling us again? He seems like he is. He's completing 70% of his passes there for the Seahawks. And they're going to be without some key defensive members of the defense, Seattle is. DeMarcus Lawrence is out. Cornerback Devin Witherspoon is out, and he had a big week, 9 tackles and a half a sack last week. Julian Love, another tackle machine safety, he's out as well. Over on the Tampa Bay side, well, we know there's a laundry list of injuries on this roster. Bucky Irving, the running back, is out. Rashard White will get the workload. Mike Evans is out, no problem. Emeka Ibuka leads all rookies with 282 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Another rookie, Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame, he also popped up on the injury report this week. He's going to miss this matchup. Rashard White, 46 scrimmage yards a week ago. He's got a bigger workload in his future today. Seattle, they got a pretty good backfield as well with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet seen pay dirt last week. I think the Bucs are going to take advantage of the Seahawks injuries, right? That's a lot of ammunition, firepower to be down on the defensive side of the ball. 3 key starters again, and DeMarcus Lawrence, Devin Witherspoon, and Julian Love. And for that, I'm going to lay the 3.5 and eke this one out. I got Tampa Bay taking it on the road, 24-20, over your Seahawks. All right, one more matchup on the 4 o'clock slate. It's a good one. Cross country, Washington Commanders, 2-2, getting back Jaden Daniels, going into the LA Chargers, 3-1. The Chargers ran into the buzzsaw New York Giants last week. Falcons upended Washington a week ago, 34-27. But what a good quarterback matchup this is going to be. Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert. The Chargers are looking to rebound, obviously, and they're going to do it without Joe Alt, who joins Rashawn Slater. And, man, you're down both your starting tackles. McKay Becton, the starting offensive guard, also questionable. So Chargers are going to have to piecemeal this offensive line together against the Commanders, who will be without Terry McLaurin, still missing time. Noah Brown, the wide receiver, also out, as is offensive tackle Samuel Cosme. You know, Ja'Cory Crosby-Moret, is there really a better rookie story than this kid? 7th-round pick, 57 scrimmage yards a week ago. He's now got 172 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. Luke McCaffrey with the 2nd career touchdown last week. A lot of young players on our radar here. Omarion Hampton still keeping his Rookie of the Year hopes alive. 165 scrimmage yards a week ago. And the Chargers, man, this Tuli Patolo, he's emerging as one of the premier pass rushers in the league. 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Dion Henley, another emerging linebacker. And over there for Washington, Bobby Wagner still doing it. He's up there in dog years. You know, believe it or not, after the NFL draft back in April, these are the 2 teams I had predicted for my Super Bowl, in the Commanders and the Chargers. My opinions may have since changed. Injuries can do that. I do think they'll both be in play here and have deep postseason runs. Of course, Chargers in command of the AFC West right now. I go back and forth in this game. I'm gonna go with the Chargers at home. Jaden Daniels hasn't played the last couple weeks. Maybe a little bit of rust, maybe not. I don't feel great about this one, but I'm going to go Chargers here, laying the 3, eking it out, 24-20, Chargers over the Commanders. All right, one more game on the docket for today. Of course, tomorrow we'll have our Monday Night Football preview on the Monday show. I'll be flying solo. We'll do a deep dive on the NFL recap. We'll also recap the NCAA action. Tuesday, I'm trying to get James Larson for some United Football League updates. 3 teams relocating in the UFL. We'll also talk some CFL on Tuesday. Of course, Wednesday, the legendary Howard Balzer joins us each and every Wednesday, covering 50 years of the NFL. Minnesota, Cleveland still tied 7-7 here. Just under 2 minutes to go before the end of the first half. We'll keep you posted. All right, Sunday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs, 2-2, heating up. Patrick Mahomes has the Chiefs rising from the ashes. They actually go into Jacksonville, who's 3-1, as favorites. And Jacksonville with a surprising win over San Francisco last week. Chiefs favored by 3.5. All right, Mahomes, this is what he does. He just elevates these jabronis. I mean, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton. Good to see Xavier Worthy back, but this is really a no-name offense. Mahomes just gets it done. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, just under 1,000 yards on the season. And again, Kansas City just keeps getting stronger and stronger. They're about 2 weeks away from getting Rashee Rice back as well. All right, Travis Etienne, he rushed for 124 last week, the only player in the NFL with multiple rushing games of over 120 yards. And Bishal Tootin, they traded off Tank Bigsby there right before the start of the season because Tootin was charging. He's got touchdowns in 2 of his last 3 games. And Travis Hunter with a season-high 42 receiving yards a week ago. And I've talked about it. I like what the Jacksonville program is doing. They're going to be factors in the AFC. And this, too, may be a litmus test for the new regime there in Jacksonville, just to see how far this roster has progressed since last season. The Chiefs are never, ever an easy out. And again, I wavered on this one because I like Jacksonville more than most. And I went back and forth. Some really tough games to choose this week. 3.5 scares me. And I always get hurt when I pick against Mahomes. So I'm going to go to Chiefs to win, but the Jaguars to cover in a close one. It could come down to a last-second field goal. I got the Chiefs 26-24 over the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday Night Football. Hammer. Now. Hammer. Hammer them home, all right? We got them all in. Again, 38-27 against the spread on the season. We hope to do better this week. And we'll come back tomorrow and talk about it, be about it, get the Monday Night Football prediction on the books. And we got a few minutes left in the show to play around with. And like we do each and every week at the end of the NFL Around the League Pick'em, we'll take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll go around the NCAA landscape. Oh, it seems like each and every week there's just upsets, surprises, things you never seen coming. And we'll talk about that right after this. Hey, RIC and a place to be. Ric Serritella checking in from the legendary Jersey Shore for the world-famous All Access Football. And you're tuned in to the All Access Football Daily Show, our newest venture here at the world-famous All Access Football, read by all 32 NFL teams and 50,000 subscribers from around the world. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to work in this great game of football for the past 2 decades. It's our 24th season of providing you independent analysis when it comes to the NFL draft and everything pigskin, whether it's the NFL, college football, NFL draft, CFL, UFL. We'll be with you each step of the way, especially for draft season when we really get into high mode. Of course, it's all brought to you by the 2026 NFL Draft Bible, published in April, featuring over 500 in-depth scouting reports with our boots-on-the-ground analysis. We'll be on location at the All-Star Games, the NFL Scouting Combine, the Pro Day circuit, counting you down to that 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. And be sure you check us out over at allaccessfootball.com. We've got a great promo discount for you listeners at home. If you enter our promo code RICVIP, you'll get a 30% discount off of all of our premium content. You'll unlock the magic. Get our NFL Draft Insider Reports, Scouting Notebook, of course, the World Football All Access Football Report published on Wednesday. It's your new home for real football talk. So follow along, give us a shout. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please give it a like, a share, a subscribe, and we'll be with you each and every day here, 7 days a week, live, 10 a.m. Eastern, no days off, rain, sleet, hail, snow. The show must go on. For Ric Serritella and the All Access Football Daily Show, keep it locked, everybody. All right, we're back at it again. All right, seeing a place to be. Ric Serritella here on the confines of the Jersey Shore, broadcasting live around the universe, wherever you may be tuned in to the All Access Football Daily Show. We're here live 7 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern in Cleveland, trying to get a last-second score here before the end of the first half in the London game. It's 7-7. Of course, Harold Fannin with the touchdown from Dylan Gabriel, Cam Akers hitting Josh Oliver to tie it up 7-7. And Dylan Gabriel here feeling the pressure, throwing a bad pass as Cleveland is on the Minnesota 7-yard line with about 15 seconds left to go. We'll let you know if they punch it in. All right, we went around the league with the NFL Pick'em. We got all the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games on the books. Again, 38-27 against the spread coming into today. And before we get over to the NCAA landscape, I'll give you a little game by game. Oh, we got a whistle. Of course, 16 seconds left. Dylan Gabriel looks like the play clock was an issue. 3rd and goal. We'll keep you posted there. All right. NCAA action. Quick thoughts like we do each and every week at the end of the show. Just some quick hitters from around the league. We'll get more into this on tomorrow's show. Ohio State smashed Minnesota 42-3. Miami, they took care of business against Florida State 28-22. And every week that goes by, I start believing that Carson Beck is the best quarterback prospect in terms of ready to step in and play. He might not have the most upside as some of these other guys, but Carson Beck is as good as it gets in terms of a pro prospect. And I got to say, like Ohio State, Oregon, and Miami now seem like they're in a separate category. There's a flag on Cleveland and looks like false start on the offense, so they're going to get pushed back here. But Miami, Oregon, Ohio State, they seem to be in a separate class. Now, Oklahoma won 44-0 over Kent State. They'll be getting back quarterback John Mateer very soon. Texas A&M dominates Mississippi State 31-9. And then the Penn State, I sat here last week and said, you're not going to find a guy better than James Franklin for this Penn State job. Let me take that back because, that was an embarrassment. They're the first top 10 team to lose to an 0-4 team in like forever. And they just got embarrassed. Nico Imalava killing them with the legs more so than the arm. But UCLA stuns Penn State 42-37. We'll see how far Penn State now topples in those rankings after losing to Oregon last week. Arch Manning and the Longhorns, again, just couldn't find their footing. Florida came out, punched them in the mouth early in that one. And again, like Arch flashes, he flashes, but the consistency, sometimes with the clean pocket, he's taking a lot of hits. Man, it's been a rough season for the Longhorns now. 2 losses. They're going to drop. I don't think the Longhorns are a college football playoff contender anymore. Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia came in with the moxie and the arrogance, but they fall short to Alabama 30-14. And Cleveland settling for the field goal there, 10-7, it looks like. Texas Tech, they get their starting quarterback and hammer Houston 35-11. Georgia kills Kentucky 35-14. Cincinnati with the big win over Iowa State 38-30. Michigan 24-10 over Wisconsin. Notre Dame favored by 21. They win 28-7. Illinois 43-27 over Purdue, and Virginia with another overtime win. They did it 2 weeks ago against Florida State. They did it last night against Louisville. And I mentioned Bill Belichick took one on the chin from Clemson, and I think Dabo Swinney did him a favor in that one, because I watched this game and it looked like a high school team versus a middle school team. I mean, Clemson went up 28-0, I think it was. I feel like Dabo called the dogs off there. And I mean, pregame, that was probably the highlight of the North Carolina season. They had Bill Belichick on one of the pregame shows with Nick Saban. They were talking back and forth. Pretty cool moment there. But that's about all the excitement you're going to get from the North Carolina Tar Heels. And you now wonder, I mean, I don't see Bill Belichick coming back and going through another year of this embarrassment. And he's up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in August. But man, you talk about striking out in the transfer portal, and they brought in big money general manager Michael Lombardi, and they completely whiffed on this thing. 70 new players, none of them any very good. And Max Johnson getting the start there yesterday. It is brutal down in the Chapel Bill era. All right. That's the fastest hour in football right there. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And before we go, you guys have been doing a great job taking advantage of our current promotional special. And it looks like they're going to be going into halftime here. I believe Cleveland is up 10-3. But our good friend Neil Stratton gave us some books to give away, and I'm going to tell you how to win it right now. And so what you need to do is like, share, subscribe to the show. Very easy. Go over to allaccessfootball.com, subscribe for the annual pass, use our promo code RICVIP. Takes you down to $20, includes the 2026 Draft Bible, all of our insider content. You can go over there right now and get every Power 4 conference team, all their prospects, verified measurements, projections, scouting reports, and, of course, the 2026 NFL Draft Bible with over 500 in-depth scouting reports. It comes out to 54 cents a day. So if you want to support the show, this is a great way to do it. And you're going to get a $75 value for just $20 because we're going to throw in value picks. It's about $20 on Amazon with the shipping. And Neil interviewed over 100 GMs, front office executives, scouts for this 2016 NFL Draft, the 10-year anniversary. It takes you inside the war room with how the selections were made, focuses on 8 draft picks, Dak Prescott, Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, how they came about. So you'll get the value picks, and courtesy of Canadips, new sponsor of the show, they hopped on board. We thank Canadips so much. Check them out at canadips.com. These go for about $30-$35 a pack. We're going to throw that in there with the value picks, with the Draft Bible, with the All Access Football subscription. We need your support here on the All Access Football Daily Show. So if you like it, please subscribe to it, and we'll be with you each and every day here, counting you down, about 200 days away still to go to the 2026 NFL Draft. So we appreciate all the love and support, and I'll be dropping those in the mail tomorrow since the post office was closed today, but I got some catching up to do with all of you who took advantage of our very special promo, and we thank you so much. We thank you for tuning in each and every day on the All Access Football Daily Show. It is your home for real football talk. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hopefully we gave you some winners, and I know this, so long that I wake up on the right side of dirt tomorrow. I'll be back at it again right in this chair talking to you live, 10 a.m. Eastern. It's what we do here. And I hate saying goodbye. I love talking football with you so much. I hate saying goodbye each and every day, but man, the hour of power just flies through. We got the halftime going on in London. We're about 2 hours away from kickoff. So soak in all the action, enjoy it. We'll come back tomorrow and talk about it, and we'll be about it. And we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Hey, RIC and a place to be. Ric Serritella checking in from the legendary Jersey Shore for the world famous All Access Football, and you're tuned in to the All Access Football Daily Show, our newest venture here at the world famous All Access Football, read by all 32 NFL teams and 50,000 subscribers from around the world. And I've been blessed and fortunate enough to work in this great game of football for the past 2 decades. It's our 24th season of providing you independent analysis when it comes to the NFL draft and everything pigskin, whether it's the NFL, college football, NFL draft, CFL, UFL. We'll be with you each step of the way, especially for draft season when we really get into high mode. Of course, it's all brought to you by the 2026 NFL Draft Bible, published in April, featuring over 500 in-depth scouting reports with our boots-on-the-ground analysis. We'll be on location at the All-Star Games, the NFL Scouting Combine, the Pro Day circuit, counting you down to that 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. And be sure you check us out over at allaccessfootball.com. We've got a great promo discount for you listeners at home. If you enter our promo code RICVIP, you'll get a 30% discount off of all of our premium content. You'll unlock the magic. Get our NFL Draft Insider Reports, Scouting Notebook, of course, the World Football All Access Football Report, published on Wednesday. It's your new home for real football talk. So follow along, give us a shout. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please give it a like, a share, a subscribe, and we'll be with you each and every day here, 7 days a week, live, 10 a.m. Eastern, no days off, rain, sleet, hail, snow. The show must go on. For Ric Serritella and the All Access Football Daily Show, keep it locked, everybody.